I'm getting my book out to take or create new names if I need it. My name is Tracy Madsen. I'm a certified professional dog trainer and behavior consultant in Utah. And I'm one of the Pupford approved trainers. And I live here with my 3 pity mixes. And I love doing these lives. So if this is your first time doing a live, please just type in your name and where you're from, and that will enter you into the drawing for the free bag of Pupford training treats. It just comes across as Facebook user to me, so I can't see who is joining. So I can't believe that August is over. Hey, Nicole. Like, where did this summer go? Nicole, or summer is like over. Okay, Nicole. Nicole, didn't you win last week? If I remember right. Hi, Jennifer. I'm going to write names down now. Indiana. Yeah, you did win. I thought so. It's funny. I have a terrible memory when it comes to certain things, but then I remember things like that, but I can't remember what I did yesterday. So, hey, Brian. I always tell Renee, I'll put Renee down because I figure that she's coming as well. I shorten you guys' last name. Unless you win, and then when I email Pupford to let him know you're the winners, I type it out. But so I just had a really cool session with a brand new client, 5 dogs. I thought I had a lot. These guys are all rescues. Hey, Renee, I already wrote you down because I knew you'd be here. So 5 dogs. Oh, Chase. That's a good idea. Oh, you spent time working with your brother's dog. That's good. That's how I got started, was working with rescue dogs and then neighbor dogs. So anyway, this lady's got, we didn't even do a lot with the dog that I was there to work with, which is a reactive dog. But she's got a 9-month-old, totally blind dog. And get this, I would have put money on the fact that this dog was a 100% purebred golden retriever, looked exactly like one, doesn't have an ounce of golden retriever, is part pit bull, part coon hound, part, oh shoot, now I'm going to forget. I can't remember now, but anyway, weird breeds, and then part, they call it super mutt, which just means a lot of breeds together. Oh, I still have her paperwork here. I can look and see, because it was a strange mix. Let's see, where did I write it? Oh, German Shepherd, Pit Bull, Coon Hound, and Super Mutt. Anyway, she came in. I know, right, Nicole? It was crazy. I should have taken a picture. The dog had really bad eye infections when the rescue pulled him, so they had to take out both eyes. And this dog is huge, like 9 months old, but huge. I would guessing 90 pounds, and is constantly jumping because he wants to know where you are. Like, he wants to be able to know where his people are. So I feel like my arms are all scratched, and I've been jumped on so many times today. But interestingly, so he understands like verbal, but we couldn't really lure him because he can't see. So this is your case study for this week. And there's several right answers. Again, I'll give you extra points, and probably there's not going to be any wrong answers. But what are some different ways? Hey, Brian, what are some different ways that you could teach this dog? The first thing I wanted to do was teach the dog not to jump, because he was very big, and to sit for greetings rather than, but and I mean, I always have such a habit of, luring, but we couldn't really use visual. So what are some other ways that you could go about training a dog that is blind? And it was really interesting because yes, Renee, nose work. I used Pupford salmon treats. And the reason I use those is because, okay, I've got to turn my phone over. It's going to drive me nuts. I had the treat, so I still did luring, but he couldn't see the lure, but he followed the treat with his nose. So I still did the same thing, like above, above the head, and then the butt would go down, and I used a clicker, so click, treat. And I'd have to actually stick the treat right in his mouth, because he couldn't see that I had a treat. She had been trying to do down and couldn't do it, so I did it with luring with the salmon treat, and we did several, we did shaping, nose to ground, treat, nose to ground, treat, and then I started to slide it out, and so he would follow it out, and then I clicked when one paw would move, and then after that he went right into a down, and then we named it. So that was the first thing, and then he finally, when he would try to jump, I would just turn my back and walk away. So basically, if he jumps, I would remove myself. And then, and then he kind of realized, wow, if I jump, she's going to move away. But if I sit, she'll give me a treat. So that worked out really well. But if you didn't want to use, this is where you get to think. If you don't want to use all verbal cues, and what's something else that you could use to teach the dog what you want? Because they have 5 dogs. So if you said Herman, sit, all the dogs would sit. And then I don't think she said Herman no sit, but he wouldn't sit on cue. I kind of had to lure him with a treat. And surprisingly, he has adapted really well because we did hand targeting. And even though he couldn't see my hand, he could smell where the treat was in my hand. Yes. So Jennifer, that's a good one. Click and treat, luring, keep verbal cue simple. Yep. I'm going to give you an extra point for that. And there's still another one that I kind of was thinking of because I've worked with a dog in a rescue that is both blind and deaf. So that makes it really hard, but I kind of got this idea. So I'll give you a second to think about it, and then I'm going to look at these. So Peyton got DNA results. Oh, Boxer, Lab, German Shepherd, Chow Chow, Pit Bull, Golden Roddy Husky. Oh my goodness, that is a mix. So I'm always interested when people put Pit Bull, because Pit Bull is generic, and an American Staffordshire Terrier is a Pit Bull. So Pit Bull can be, it's like saying Lab. You've got English Cream Lab, Retrievers. So it's like if you say Shepherd, well, is it a German Shepherd, a Dutch Shepherd, an Australian Shepherd? things like that. So pit bull is very generic. So that's interesting. Wow, what a mix. So if you're thinking about breed traits, what are some breed traits for each of those breeds that you would want to consider when doing enrichment? So when we do enrichment, I like to do things that the dog in that breed category would do naturally if they were in the wild. So, like, I'll give you an example. For the pit bull, since they were originally bred for varmint control, I let my dogs dig, or I make a dig pit for them so they have one spot in the yard where they're allowed to dig, or I'll get the pool with the plastic balls and let them dig through there. So that's one thing that I do for the dogs. So the German Shepherd would be easy, but it's because I've had Shepherds before. The lab part would be easy. What are some other ones that you can think of as far as enrichment for those different breeds? Hi, Facebook user. If you can give me your name and where you're from, I will enter you into our drawing. So think about, boxer. What's some enrichment you could do for a boxer? Lab, I can think of an easy one. German Shepherd, I can think of an easy one. Chow Chow might not be as easy. Retriever, Golden Retriever would be easy. Rottie Husky might be a little bit harder. And then the Staffy is pretty easy. But yes, you're right. That is quite a mix. Oh, hi, Julie. Oh, was that you, the Facebook user? So last week, if you guys ever can't get on, sometimes I have problems with this platform that lets people from all three Pupford platforms join. But sometimes I have issues with this, and since it's after hours, I can't get a hold of anybody. And so I end up just going to the 30-day Perfect Pup Facebook page and doing a live video. So if it's ever you're thinking, oh, she's supposed to be on at 6:30, and if I'm not there, it's probably because I'm having issues and can't get somebody to fix it. So jump over to the 30-day Perfect Pup, and you'll probably find me there. Okay, Julie. Okay, so going back to our blind dog, what would be hi Anita, other than a verbal cue, if you can't use hand signals because he can't see, and if you needed another way to teach the dog what to do, what is another way that you could do that other than verbal? And obviously you can't use hand cues. And I tried it out on this dog. Yes. Are you thinking of tactile? And it came out texture, but it's kind of the same thing. Tactile. Yes. Jennifer, you get another point. Yes, clickers. And we did use clickers for this dog, so I'm going to give you a point for that. And we use the clickers to mark the behavior. But what I found is that this is what we did with the blind and deaf dog at the rescue is tactile. So we would touch the dog in different spots, and that's what meant different things. So for example, I taught the dog to hand target, and so then I would touch his nose and bring my hand up for him to follow my hand up, and that was his sit. So because I don't like to repeat cues more than once, I would ask him to sit, and if he didn't sit, I put my hand up to his nose and lure him up. And then as soon as he'd sit, we click and then treat. And it worked really well. And then the same for down. So when he learned down, I just like touched his nose and kind of had him follow my hand down until he went down. And then with the actual touch, he could kind of smell my hand, and because I had the Pupford salmon treats on my hands, and I started with one in between my fingers so he could really smell it. But he learned just to walk forward until he ran into my hand, and then we would click and treat. So he learned how to target that way. So it was actually really interesting, but it was a lot of fun. Only 9 months old and had to have both eyes removed. So super sad. But yes, good job, you guys. Okay, so now you get extra points if going back to Brian's post about his DNA. Hey, Karen, what are some different enrichment ideas that you have for each of those breeds? And so enrichment is like foraging, like a flirt pole, treat dispensing toys, something that makes the dog use their brain. But I also think of them practicing species specific behaviors. So, as an example, if Peyton had herding breed, yeah, lick mat. If Peyton, yes, Nicole, that's what I was looking for. So dogs that love to dig, you can do the ball pit and the flirt pole. And yes, herding dog, she needs to run. And especially with herding dogs, you can use flirt pole because the dog gets to run, chase, grab, shake, tug, and then you can teach it drop it. But a herding dog that does all of those things naturally is going to love a flirt pole. And then there's another one, especially for the German Shepherd. What can you think of that a German Shepherd, what are they known for? Sorry, I'm eating because I just got home and I haven't eaten. Yeah, you can use a fishing pole too for a flirt pole. I'll give you a point for that. Nose work. Bingo. German Shepherds love to use their nose. I kind of want to do Jade's DNA. She doesn't look like she has any Shepherd in her, but she has got a wicked, powerful nose that all she wants to do is sniff. So, yes, nose work for the German Shepherd. So that could be snuffle mat. That could be having her forage for her meals, like throwing her meals actually into the grass and saying, go hunt or find it. Okay, what about the golden retriever and the lab? This one should be an easy one. I'm going to eat while you guys are thinking. So what are labs known for? Fetch. Yep. Fetch. So throwing balls, having them go after them, retrieve them, come back. Pointing, yeah. They can point. Retrieving. Yes. Okay, let me give all you guys extra points so I don't get behind. So yeah, any of these things that you can do for the different breeds, perfect for dogs. And really, really good enrichment. So since I have 3 pitties, I do a lot of different ones. Yeah, stalking. And that kind of goes with, well, not really with flirt pole, but yeah, Anita jumping into the water. And then Brian, yes, stalking. So I sometimes use things like this. Kind of, I coincide with the Premack principle. So let's say a dog wants to stalk a squirrel or bark at a tree where the squirrels are up there. If I know that the dog can't get at the squirrel or the bird or whatever, then I will like let them do this. But I'll ask a dog, like I'll have them on a long line, and I'll call them to come to me, and then they come. And if they don't, I kind of help them with the leash by reeling them in. Hi, Willie. And then they come and they get their treat, and then I'll say, okay, go bark, or go stalk, or go point. And so, yes, they can point at the birds in the trees, or they can go bark at the tree that has the squirrels. So they get to do that, and but I ask them to do something first. Like I'll do a sit and wait. Okay, go bark if they do it. And then I'll do a recall. Oh, Nicole, that one's a good one too. Hide and seek. Because yes, that does help with enrichment, and it also helps with recall. So I will like hide and say, come find me. And then when we are out, like hiking, I keep my dogs on a leash now just because of all the wildlife. And my dogs are super friendly, but not everybody likes pit bulls. And honestly, mine don't have the best recall. So they're on a leash. But they might be on a long line, and I might like drop the leash and duck behind a bush or a tree and then say, come find me. And then the dogs know the hide and seek game. And so then it's a game, and then they come and find me. I give them lots of praise, treats if I have them, and then I release them again to go be a dog. So, yeah, that's super enriching too. And Nicole, doing hide and seek is kind of how we train search and rescue dogs. So, like somebody would hide, and then we would send the dog out to find him. So I used to get the neighbor kids and the neighbor whoever would do it to hide. And since I live in a rural area, lots of barns with like lots of hay barns, and so I would have people hide up high, like behind the hay, and then take my dog out and sniff, sniff, sniff. And then if he wasn't able to get at them, he would sit and bark, but he could like smell their scent. And so, yeah, training them that way. So yeah, all of those are perfect. So if you ever want to know, like, okay, what can I do for my dog? And also, Jennifer, when you do get your DNA, share them with us next week. Because I always like to talk about, you know, what dogs were originally bred for, and then making sure that we incorporate that into their daily enrichment, because it's awesome. Since Jade is part Boston and loves to jump, I swear Boston Terriers are like little miniature pogo sticks. And Jade, when I'm getting their dinner ready, like she's like boing, 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 and she gets fed last, but she will jump and jump and jump. So I started doing like high touches with her. So I'd say touch, and she would jump and touch. And, you know, stuff like that. But I will often use nose work with her because she loves to sniff. So I'll recall her, give her a treat, and then say, okay, go sniff. And then she'll go sniff. I'm trying to get her ready to test as a therapy dog so that I can take her into schools and stuff. Trying to get Mr. Willy Wonka certified too. Um, and he's actually coming along really well considering that I haven't been training him for very long. But Jade's biggest thing is when people pet her, she likes to jump up and she lick. And what I discovered yesterday in training is that if people lean over her head or reach over her head, she jumps up to their face. And one of her alerts for me when I have a migraine is she will lick my face. Like that's how she wakes me up at night, is to lick. And so, but that doesn't mean she can lick other people, because she's only supposed to lick if she can sense a migraine. Doesn't mean she can lick other people. But I wondered is if maybe she's not comfortable with people like reaching over or leaning over her, and instead of like biting or snapping, she like jumps up to lick them. Because then we tried having people come in and pet her from the side, and they have to do a hug, like a restrained hug. And she was much better. Like she would let them come in and hug. They would pet her without her jumping. So just kind of knowing what the dog's triggers are and then working around that. So Jennifer, what's an MDR1 test? I know I've heard of that before, but I don't know what that is. So English Shepherd, Aussie Doodle mix. I would do nose work, flirt pull. You could definitely hide stuff, let your dog find it. So Nicole, I think, hey Kirsten, I think Willie, I don't know, I haven't done his DNA. My guess is that he is Pit Bull English Bulldog mix, because I had a Pit Bull Frenchie mix and he looks a little bit different. So he definitely looks Pitty English Bulldog mix. Last weekend, you guys, I had the most adorable purebred Old English Bulldog puppy that I watched for a friend for a weekend, and he was ridiculously cute. For half a second, okay, I'm getting behind. Hi, Facebook user, tell me who you are. Okay, all right, Kirsten down. I, for half a second, thought, okay, I would seriously consider buying one of these dogs. But since I rescue, I think $2,500 would do a lot. Oh, hi, Sandy. Sandy, where are you from? And I'll enter you in our drawing. Sandy Keel. So, oh, and Nicole, when you say your brother's dog is a bully, yeah, I mean, a bully breed can be, bulldog, French bulldog, English bulldog, pit bull. They're all kind of bullies. What we think is Willie. Oh, Indiana, awesome. Jennifer Brown up there's from Indiana too. So we think that Willie was being bred as a shorty bull, which is a designer breed. Like all of the doodles are designer breeds, and the Cavapoo and the Yorkie Poos and all those are designer breeds. They take a pit bull and they breed them with either a French bulldog or an English bulldog, and they're smaller, and so they call them shorty bulls. And they sell for like $8,000. Now, as handsome as I think they are, and I'm totally obsessed with how they look, I could never pay $8,000 for a dog, nor could I ever afford it. But all these backyard breeders are now trying to copy that because they go for so much money. And so they're not practicing. Oh, American Bully. Huh. Yeah, there is an American Bully. So anyway, his was a result of poor breeding. So he's a genetic little nightmare. So with his back legs, and then his one eye is always red and always goopy, and then his teeth are a mess. But we love him. Yeah, it could be the American Bully. I would have to look it up and see what they say, but yes, I'm pretty sure that Willie's a pit English Bulldog mix. And my friend that raises and breeds old English Bulldogs, which they're bigger. They're the bigger Bulldog breed, but she thinks that he's pit English Bulldog as well. Okay, Mule drug resistance mutation. Oh, it has to do with the gene that causes sensitivity to a number of drugs found in flea and tick meds. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Anyone with an Aussie or Collie breed should get their dog tested. Yeah, I did not know that. Probably. So, do they need to get tested if they're mixed, like a mixed breed with those breeds in it? Oh, yeah. Oh, multi-drug. Okay. That's interesting. I've worked for 2 different vets, and I have never heard of that. I'll have to ask. One of my trainer friends has, well, hers is a border collie. Well, yeah, collie. I'll have to ask if she got her dog tested. Yeah, Nicole, if your dog's 15, you're probably good. Okay. So we did our case study. We talked about breeds. We talked about enrichment. So what training questions do you have? Just for curiosity, I really should test Jade. I mean, she looks like a pit bull Boston, and she acts like a Boston. But I wouldn't mind getting Willie tested just to see if that's what he comes back as a pit bull. 50-50 in mini Aussies. Boy, there are so many people up here that are getting mini Aussie doodles. And it's like doodles have kind of become rampant up here. But I do see mini Aussie doodles, mini Bernedoodles. I had a Bernedoodle today that I worked with. So Julie, I think the most accurate is like the wisdom panel that I believe you have to get from your vet. But I know that Amazon has one that's $50 that you swab the inside of their mouth. I don't know how effective it is, but let's see, Julie, I saw Facebook that catnip has the opposite effect on dogs. That should calm them down. Huh. I did not know that. I have catnip for my cat, but you know what's interesting? Wisdom panel through their website. Oh, Jennifer, how much was it, if you don't mind us asking? Nicole, I had my mom's doodle, and she told me not to let the hair get matted, and I failed. You know what? It's hard with doodles. I have several clients with doodles, and they end up just taking their dog in and just shaving them down, which I think is good because it's cooler for them in the summer anyway. Let's see. I get sidetracked, and then I forgot what I was going to say. I was talking about DNA testing and what else? It must not have been important because I can't remember. Yeah, mini Aussie doodles, all of the doodles right now. Well, I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, yes, catnip. Sorry. So I bought these little catnip toys that, 99. Yeah, that's what the wisdom panel is. It's probably gone up since I was last at the vet, but when I did it, it was like 100. So it's probably gone up, which means 99 is probably, so Jennifer, is it a swab? Did you swab? Because most people in their own home can't do a blood draw. Oh, Renee, wisdom panel 69. Watch for sales. Oh, that's what I'm going to do since I have to do 2 dogs. So I had this little catnip. It's a ball, and you can stick it on the wall or whatever. Well, I was worried about it pulling my paint off, so I put it on my desk. And my cat loved it. Like, she would roll in it, and then I walked by, and the catnip roll was gone. And then I found it with Willie. So Willie had come by, pulled the catnip out of the holder, and ate it like a chew treat. I don't remember if it made him any calmer. He's pretty calm and chill anyway, so he could have been calmer and I just didn't notice. But I should actually give Jade catnip and see if it calms her down, because sometimes she's just hyper. Wow, 200 breeds and 50 medical issues. That's interesting. 35 different genetics. And is that all the wisdom panel that you're talking about? Okay, I'm going to run back through really quick and see if I missed anybody putting their name down. So Nicole, what kind of dog is your brother's dog? Oh, let's see. Okay, I got Julie. Both Julies. Or no, one Julie. Okay, I got Karen. Nicole, Brian. So Brian, yes, you could actually use a fishing pole for a flirt pole, and then on the end of the pole, I would just use like a squeaky toy, or something like that. Oh, I know what I can talk about if you guys don't have any questions. And if I don't forget by the time I go through these and make sure that I got everybody. So earlier today, I was on a webinar for snake avoidance training, like rattlesnake avoidance training. And they were talking about, because when you're doing it, you want your dog to really have a good recall, because we pair it with the scent. So we have like snake skins or snake sheds, and so we have them on a leash, and as soon as they get in the scent, then we recall them away from us. And so they were talking about how with recall, you can never overtrain that, and you should be working with lots and lots of distractions. Like recall your dog and have a helper like throw a toy right in between them or like right in front of them, throwing food, having a fake plastic snake or something that is going to distract them. So, like, you literally cannot run out of distractions when practicing, especially like leave it and recall. So, in my intermediate class last night, we were practicing leave it and recalls, and I do what's called the gauntlet. So I put down like a Kong wobbler, but I would show you, but it's in my car. I got a little horse and it's on batteries, and it whinnies and then it trots, like not fast, but it like moves, and it drives dogs crazy because it actually moves and makes sound. And then I got a battery operated duck that is supposed to walk, but it swims. When I tried to make it walk, it would just tip over, but it was still a good distraction. And then I had several squeaky toys that I put out, and we practiced leave it with those. And then I would put them all out in a group, and then I had people call their dogs through them. So the dog had to run through all the squeaky toys, the horse, all the fun stuff. They had to like recall through that to their owner. So it was super. It was fun. Willie right now is eating a box, which I let him. That's part of his enrichment, is eating boxes, and then he doesn't eat my furniture. But yes, it looks like Jade's going to join in, even though I've not known Jade to like them before, but it keeps him busy. Okay, Julie, I just ordered this off Amazon. Dog barking control devices, 3-in-1 ultrasonic stop barking devices, and anti-barking. I'm not familiar with that. Is that one? I think one of my clients ordered one of these, not for his dogs, but for the neighbor dogs that wouldn't stop barking. So he set it up, and it faced where the neighbor's dogs were, and then when the neighbors barked, there was a high-pitched, it was almost like humans couldn't hear it, but the dogs could hear it, and then they would stop barking. Is that what you're talking about? Because here's what I tell people. So dogs communicate through body language and like barks, growls, snaps, stuff like that. So my first go-to is find out why the dog is barking, and then do what we call antecedent arrangement, which is, so let's say if your dog is barking at the UPS guy. So in my window, I don't know if you can see it, I have, I have a crate in front of it for one thing, but I have plants. So my dogs can't even see out the window. So and my door is solid, so they don't ever see the UPS guy. If they're barking at the neighbors when he's out mowing his lawn, what I do is if I can hear his lawnmower starting up, I will bring my dogs in so that they can't practice that behavior. So I will try to find out, okay, why are they barking? And then kind of control the environment. Or I'll use what we call a positive interrupter, which is like, okay, that's enough. And then that just lets the dogs know, okay, you've told me, I know there's somebody out there mowing their lawn, it's fine. And then they get rewarded when they stop barking. And a lot of times I'll have them do something else. Like if I throw a bunch of treats out in the yard in the grass, they'll stop barking because they're going to hunt for food. So stuff like that. The ultrasonic, it can be aversive. And let's say, and I'm not saying that you're wrong for getting it. but I am curious as to like the reason you got it. Let's say that. Oh, I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, our we used to heat our house with a wood burning stove, and one time it got too hot, and my dad had a pile of wood next to it, and it caught the wood on fire. And my dad was kind of mad when he found out that we bought a dog because he was opposed to. I mean, he liked dogs, but he didn't really want us to buy one. But we had always wanted a Cocker Spaniel, and so we found a Cocker Spaniel, and my mom bought it for us. So I always like to say, yeah, I know you don't like Buddy, but he saved our house from burning down. Because he was barking, that caused my dad to get up and be like, oh, what is that dog barking at? And then he walked out and saw the pile of wood on fire. So let's say that you have a bark collar on your dog that makes it uncomfortable for the dog to bark, and so they can't alert you. So that's the only thing I would be careful of. Oh, Renee, thanks for the link. Yeah, Julie, I would. Are you using it like just for your own dogs for like demand barking or, stuff like that? And the other thing I would look at too is if it looks like it's shutting your dogs down or they're cowering or they're afraid, then I wouldn't use it because we don't ever want to use anything with our dogs. Hi, Maddie. We don't want to use anything with our dogs. I'm going to give her my last bite. That causes fear, pain, or intimidation. So if a dog is like shutting down and scared, then I won't use it. I will, yes, Anita, I will talk about that. I will give you an example. I don't use aversives with my dogs. However, Jade is a fence jumper. And several times I got a call from the neighbors, and she had crossed the highway, which is 55 miles an hour, which means everybody goes 70. And one time she almost got hit. Maddie, you got the last one. So there was a few times that the neighbors like grabbed her out of the middle of the road. She almost got hit. So I didn't have the heart to shock my own dog, but this was a matter of saving her life. And I had already done the like boundary training, the having good things happen in the yard. But she just always wanted to go to the neighbors because they have goats and chickens and dogs and a small horse, and it's fun over there. So I kind of realized I've got to do this, or she's going to get hit by a car, and then I will be devastated. So we put my cousin has hunting dogs, and he does use e-collars with his dogs, even though he knows that I'm opposed to them. But we put the collar on her. He hid in the dog run. I went across the street, knowing that if she saw me go across the street, she would jump the fence to get to me. So right as she hit the fence with her paws, my cousin just shocked her really quick, and she jumped off. And so since you have to really know what you're doing, because it has to be immediate. We also made sure that at the neighbors there were no dogs out, no kids out, no people out, because we didn't want her to associate it with anything other than the fence. So I wanted her to think the fence bites, and I don't even want to go anywhere near it. And it did work for about 6 to 8 months, and then she started jumping again. But here's the thing. I put the collar on her, seeing if she would even just think, oh, I've got the collar on, so I'm not gonna even try. But now she associated it with not just the fence, but the collar. So she learned really quick. Even though I had put the collar on and let her like wear it around for a week, um, she knew where the pain came from. And so when I put the collar on her, she shut down. Like she wouldn't run and play. So I immediately took it off and I just decided that now I have to supervise. If I can't watch her, the dog door's closed and she doesn't get to go outside. Um, and then if she is outside, I'm either where I can check on her or I'm outside with them. So that's kind of what I did because I didn't want her to be shut down. I didn't want her to be afraid, and I want her to be able to go outside and go potty and play and run and things like that. So yeah, I discontinued that use. Anita used to do a settle, but can't remember and have to revisit. Yes, and Anita, if you email me, I will send you my handout. Are you talking about go to your mat, like that kind of like go to your place and settle, or are you talking about the relaxation protocol? Because the difference is when you're teaching like go to your mat, to me that is a cued response. So like I said, go to your mat, and Maddie just went over to her mat and sat. And so the relaxation protocol is different in that we shape it so that the dog does it on their own, and they learn how to kind of settle on their own with increasing distractions. So I click and treat. There's a protocol that I follow. So we start with like 5 seconds of calm, 10 seconds of calm, then we take a step back. So it's kind of like teaching stay, but the dog is calm on a mat. So, and it's not cued. So that's the difference. But how I teach it is so, well, I start basically the same for both. So I start with if they look at the mat, I'll bring a mat out. If they look at it, I click and treat, but I always toss the treat on the mat. If they go smell it, I click and treat. And they will continue to go back to the mat because that's where the treats are happening. So then if they step on the mat, so if they want nothing to do with the mat or the bed, then I will toss a treat on so that they have to step on the bed to get the treat. I click and treat. You can also use yes, like yes and treat. And then I usually release them after each one to see if then the dog will go back to the mat on their own, because that's where all the good stuff happens. And if they do, I click and treat. If they don't, I throw a treat on the bed to lure them onto the bed. And then I'll kind of wait and see if they offer a sit. So if they sit, I'll click and treat. If you're doing like the cue, go to your mat, then you can ask for a sit and a down. And then I kind of lure. So what I call settle means they shift over to one hip, so that they're not like in that like all four ready to jump or ready to get up type of thing. So like right now, I don't know if you can see her, kind of. Maddie is in a settle position. See how she's on her bed and she's over on one hip? So then what I would do is periodically toss a treat and reward her for being calm on her mat, and then you can say good settle, like, oh, good settle. And that's basically what I do. So I lure it by tossing treats on the bed. I shape it by having them look at the bed, smell. Any interaction with the bed gets a click and a treat. And then I might say, oh, you've stepped on it 10 times now. You got to give me more than that. What can you give me? And then sometimes they'll just sit. And so then I'll click and treat. So I kind of shape it that way. Anita, does that answer your question? And again, I will send you my handout. Let me know if you want the go to your mat one or the relaxation protocol. Brian, it's getting dark earlier. Oh, I know. I feel you because here and daylight savings is coming up in a month. So it gets dark here at like 4:30. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be really hard. I like I like daylight savings because it stays light longer. The bad thing is it's light. I can always tell what time it is because I will wake up and if it's starting to get light, I know it's between 5:30 and 6. And I don't get up that early. So I try to roll over and go back to sleep, but I can't sleep if it's light. So I have to put something over my eyes. Um, and yes, during the winter, when it gets dark early, I go to bed earlier because it's dark. So it does kind of cut back on our training and what we can do. But that's where I like to use snuffle mats indoors, flirt poles indoors, things like that you can do indoors, lick mats, because it does get dark faster. Nicole, we did that and Moose did not go past the squeaky toys. Oh, you're talking about the gauntlet thing that I did. Yeah, it was interesting. I did it with Willie, and Willie goes crazy for squeaky toys or anything that rolls. So he actually did really well, but he's kind of stopped for the toys, and we had to make it like super fun and exciting to get his attention back to us to come. But yes, the first time I did it with Jade and we did the horse. Jade was like wanting to go after the horse and pounce on it and thought it was a toy. Well, it is a toy, but it was really hard to get her to leave the horse because she thought, oh my gosh, what is that thing? And also my friend we were doing a group service dog training class. And so my friend, who's also a trainer, she brought the horse. That's where I got the idea. And she also brought a remote control car and had that zooming around. And Jade lost her mind. She's like wanted to chase. She wanted to grab it. So, oh, Julie, they bark at nothing. The constant barking. Yes. So I get it. Yeah, and if they don't get scared, that you should be good. Renee, we wouldn't have known we had a water leak in the family room ceiling without Peyton's barking. Yeah, I mean, I like that they alert. My cousin came home when he was living here. He came home in the middle of the night. Well, in the middle of the night, he had to go pick up his daughter, who was really sick, and Maddie started barking because it was the middle of the night and she didn't see, and somebody was coming into the house. And so I came down, and so I like the fact that she will bark at people coming into the house in the middle of the night. So yeah, I do like that she barks at that. Okay, great question. My puppy is 12 weeks old. She's intimidated by stairs. Any suggestions? Yes. So when I'm teaching a puppy stairs, I will use treats, and sometimes I have to use like hot dogs, or the salmon treats from Pupford are really good. But I will first put treats like right at the bottom of the stairs to get the dog to just approach the stairs, and then put a treat right at the edge of the stairs so all they have to do is pick it up, and then I'll start to move it back. So then they have to reach a little bit farther to get the treat, or even put one paw or two paws on to get the treat. And then I'll put the treat on the next step. So now they have to actually get on the stairs to get the treat. So I use lots of treats. Um, and um, I'll do the same thing going down. And I use this for dogs that don't like thresholds. So like doors, um, going through doorways, things like that. I do the same thing. I make a little trail of treats to get the dogs. Oh, in fact, I worked with a dog that I feel bad for this dog. So the owner like meant well, and her kids are all grown and gone. And so she got this puppy and just like overly babied this dog and rescued this dog from anything, like picked it up, treated it like a baby. Unfortunately, this dog is now over a year old and scared of everything, like shuts down, can't handle any stress, which is why, for you with the 12-week-old, um, like give your dog some easy problem solving, like, puzzle toys, treat dispensing toys. I love the stairs. Like, get your dog used to using the stairs so she can figure it out, but have the treats to help her, because then she's going to be more able to handle stress later. So I do like a bunch of treats. But anyway, the same lady had a dog that would not go up and down the stairs, terrified of the stairs. So we did the treat thing. First, I had the treats going up the stairs, and she did each stair, got a treat, would go up. And sometimes I had to she had to watch me put another one down. And then within less than a week, the next time I went, next week, this dog was going up and down the stairs. So it worked with using, and I think they use cheese. So it doesn't matter what you use; it just has to be rewarding enough for the dog to want to go after the treat. Oh, okay. Yeah, Anita, you want the relaxation. So when you email me, and if anybody else wants it, here's my email. It takes me sometimes a couple days to check my email. Oh, I just read she barks at the treats on the stairs. You could try like a target stick. So try hand targeting, like touch, and have a good treat. So like your dog, I would teach hand targeting first, just on the ground, so your dog learns to come and touch their nose. So the way I do it is I'll put a treat in between my fingers. Here's your dog, and the dog's going to go towards your hand, and as soon as you feel the nose touch to get the treat, that's when I click and treat, and then I give them the treat out of my hands. Then after you've done that like 5 times, then I'll do it without a treat and see if the dog comes to my hand, because she's gotten treats before. And then I click and treat. They still get a treat. It's just coming out of the pouch instead of from my hand. Then you can put it on cue and teach your dog touch. Then you can either do it with your hand and move your dog up the stairs, or, and I'm glad I forgot to leave my treat bag in my car, which is probably good because I can show this to you. So I use target sticks sometimes, and I use them for heel, but you can get these target sticks on Amazon, and they're like pointy things, so they're long, and they have a little ball on the end. I will dip this in peanut butter or baby food or pumpkin or low-fat cream cheese. See, two of my dogs are sitting here looking at, because they like to play with this. So since they're both here, let me just show you. So now if I have this, and this has peanut butter residue on it, so if I say touch, yes, good job. Did you see Maddie touch it? And now she's going to get a treat. But if I had peanut butter on the end, will he touch? Yes, good boy, good touch. So see, I just have him touch their nose, to the end of the target stick. You could do the same thing. Don't buy a target stick. Use a wooden spoon. And put something, I also use baby food sometimes. So like lure your dog. We want to give the dogs choice. So if your dog really does not want to do the stairs, like we don't want to force him, but we can have him target a wooden spoon with something yummy on it, like peanut butter or baby food, and teach them to do the stairs that way. And yes, if your dog just barks at it, maybe try something different. The reason I like targeting is because it kind of redirects your dog's focus to like, oh yeah, I know this game. I touch their hand, I get a treat, or I touch the ball, I get a treat. So, or again, use a wooden spoon. And then teach your dog to like follow that. Let me go back. Oh, yes, Julie, please don't buy bark collars. Those are terrible. And yeah, that is an easier option. Oh, this is great. Nicole, I use the short days a lot for cooperative care work, which is great. Yeah. And you can always train. I mean, training sessions are supposed to be short anyway. So, yeah, if it's a bad day, we'll do stuff like that too, cooperative care. Or sometimes we'll do tricks. So I'll do some tricks with them. We learn mat work, like go to your mat, stuff like that. Nicole, the second time Moose did it, I had a toy in hand instead of treats, and he ran right past me. That's probably what my dog would do too. Yeah, the remote control car was like a little bit too much for my dog. Linda, I never trained stairs. I'm so happy they stay down for a while, less chasing. Yes, and sometimes, I mean, if you think about how small a 12-week-old dog is and they look at this big giant, it would be like us looking at a roller coaster. Now, I love roller coasters, and the higher the better, which is crazy because I'm afraid of heights, but I love roller coasters. But for people that are scared and they look and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so big, that's kind of what stairs look like to a puppy. So even if you go up one step at a time and break it down, so you have your wooden spoon and you go up 2 steps, and so your puppy wants to be with you, you have peanut butter, and your dog will go to you, get some peanut butter, and then you go up 2 more steps. So we break it down into little teeny, does that make sense? So just make it easier. Dakota has no problem going down the stairs, but Ellie refuses to go down with me. Yeah, try a target stick or a wooden spoon or something like that. The first time I left the baby gate open and I went upstairs, and Willie came up, like, because he can walk now, he's doing stairs, but he wouldn't go down. And the most he's ever had to go downstairs is out the dog door. There's a little like 2 steps, but he wouldn't go down this big flight of stairs. So the first time I carried him because I was in a hurry, but then after that I thought, okay, dude, I am not going to carry you every time. So I started luring him and just encouraging him. Now he's almost 2, so I would say, come on, Willie, let's go. You got this. Let's go. And then he would come down hi, Jade. He would come down the stairs. So now he knows if he goes up the stairs, he's going to have to come down the stairs, and he can do it. So, but it was pretty easy to teach him to go down. Okay, should we do a drawing? And then I'll answer more questions if you have them. If not, then I'll let you go till next week. The other thing too is when we have, when we go back, turn our clocks back, I will probably keep the lives at like 6:30, because I think 6 is good for both time zones. But staying, I mean, I can stay up till 8:30, but I do get, it is harder to stay up later when it's dark. Jennifer, I have a Velcro dog. Yes. So Jade is kind of a Velcro dog. She's very independent. I mean, she's my fence jumper and all that kind of stuff. But she likes to follow me around the house because I think hers is more fear of missing out. Like she doesn't want to miss out on anything, and so she follows me around as well. Oh, Nicole, you're going on vacation. Awesome. I want to come. I never go anywhere, but I have 3 dogs and a cat, so I did just buy a camper so that I can like hook up to my truck and go camping. Probably next year. I don't think I'll be ready this year. Doris, how do you get a 90-pound dog in the car? Okay, so I do the same technique that I do with the stairs. If you heard me talk about the stairs. So first, I don't ever force the dog. So I will put treats like up to the car. And I had to do this with one of my dogs because she was terrified of riding in the car. And then on the, then I would open the door, and the part where you usually, I don't know what it's called. Right on, like, here's that, and then there's the seat. So whatever this part is, I would put treats right there. So all they have to do is pick up the treats. And then I'll put it just on the floor, but where the dog can just reach in and grab it. And I'll do that 3 or 4 times, then put it in a little bit more, a little bit more. Now for a big 90-pound dog, you could actually put it up on the seat. And again, I just do like the Hansel and Gretel trail, so that they have to go in a little bit further, but I always allow them to back out. So they get the treat, they back out. It's easy. It tends to be easier if there's 2 of you. If there's only 1 of you, it still works. But like, let's say I was with you, I would put treats on the seat, but then I'd have you go around to the other side and have really good treats and see if you can lure your dog up onto the seat to get to you. And try that. So I've done this with a few dogs that were afraid of the car, and it worked out really well. Once they realized they could jump in, get a treat, jump out. Jump in, get a treat, jump out. Then we work on like starting the car, backing the car up. We just break it down into little teeny micro criteria that the dog can handle. But I would use something like steak or hot dogs or something that your dog doesn't usually get, that your dog's going to like love and be willing to like jump up to get. But again, just first right on the edge and then start to go in a little bit at a time so that your dog learns. If your dog's older, I've used a ramp before in getting the dog just to like run up the ramp and into the car. You could do that. But yeah, I just do lots of treats. And I have used a target stick and wooden spoon before. So like luring them through the car with the wooden spoon. And if your dog is really scared to death of the car, you may, depending on how often your dog has to ride in the car with you, you could ask your vet for some anti-anxiety meds that will help. So it just helps the dog to not be as scared. And if, like, let's say, you're going to have to take your dog to the vet or to the groomer or to some, whatever, You can give your dog something an hour to 2 hours before that's going to help calm them down so that you can like help them get into the car. Oh, Colorado Springs. That sounds fun. We like to camp, but the new pup only chases the cats. Oh, let's see. Linda. Oh, I've never heard of. What do you do with your cats in camping? Don't they run off, or do you put like harnesses and leashes on them? I have noticed, like when my cat wants to come outside. See, my dogs don't chase my cat in the house. They coexist. They're really good. But if my cat goes outside, it's a different environment, and then my dogs are like, "Oh, the cat's out here," and then they run up and they want to sniff her. And I taught him to use a harness. Good. Um, so I've had to like go through the getting my dogs used to the cat outside as well as inside. So I have my cat on a harness. I will like put my dogs in a downstay, give them treats for just looking at the cat and not trying to chase the cat, stuff like that. So whatever you did to get your dogs used to the cat indoors, you can do that outdoors. So first, if you have your dog outside on a harness, have your dogs inside and just let them smell under the door, and then kind of go from there. And then maybe hold your cat outside and reward your dogs for like not jumping up, sitting, being calm around the cat, things like that. Um, if you have to, you could like tether your dogs, unless you go somewhere that there's no other people around and you can just let your dogs like run free. I would probably tether them anyway. Like we have to up here. We can't let our dogs. We have to have our dogs on a leash all the time. But you can leash your dogs away from the cat so that they can't chase the cat. You could do something like that too. But let me know if that works. Like whatever you did inside, start to do that outside. And it's interesting how dogs really don't generalize that it's the same cat. It's just outside instead of inside. So I'm doing the same thing, but basically taking the cat out on the harness, rewarding the dogs for not chasing and like just sniffing her, then leaving her alone, like stuff like that. Oh, they don't get along inside either. Okay, so Linda, I want you to email me as well because I have a handout on teaching dogs and cats to get along. So yeah, if they don't get along inside, they're going to definitely chase outside. So what I do is when I first bring a new cat home, so behind me, you can see my cat. The reason she's in her condo is because the baby gate or the dog door is open and she likes to go outside, and I live on a highway, so I don't want her to get hit. So we rotate during the day. If I'm gone, the dogs are outside except for Jade is in a crate because she jumps the fence. But the dog door's closed and the cat gets full run of the house. When I'm home and can watch, then they can all be out together. But I have this large cat condo, and I will bring a cat home and let the dogs get used to the cat, where the cat's in the condo and the dogs are out. Then, when it usually is about like 3 or 4 days, and then sometimes like I will put the dogs all the way outside, then let the cat out so the cat can get used to things. Then when I let the cat out with the dogs, I'll do one dog at a time and I'll have the dog on a leash. So we do a leave it. We do like a check-in. So as long as the dogs want to go up and sniff the cat, that's fine. If the cat hisses and the dog backs away, great. That means they're learning their boundaries with the cat. But again, I do each dog separately. I have them on a leash so that they can't chase. I also have safe places that the cat can go. So when the cat is out, that condo door is open, so she can jump in there and get up on the top shelf. This is like 3 stories, so you can see it's pretty. Like her, where do I need to move? Her litter box is on the bottom, so the dogs can't get to it. And then she gets fed on the top shelf, so the dogs can't get to it. But that's also a safe place for her. I also have a baby gate going upstairs and into the kitchen, so she can always jump a baby gate um, and get away. So we do that too. And then it it takes about a week for my dogs to just get used to the cat, and now they just kind of ignore each other. So it does take some time, but if you want to email me, I will send you my handout. I believe the handout I have is from Best Friends, so you can also get on Best Friends website, and they have a lot of resources, and they have one on how to introduce um, dogs and cats. Um, oh, let me go back. Okay, Karen, when I used to have Irish Wolfhounds, I would always train them to use a ramp. Yeah, because I kind of do that with Maddie because Maddie's older and she's 70 pounds, so it's really hard to get her in, and I don't want her jumping out because it hurts her right front shoulder. So yes, ramps are really good. Um, Linda, you could teach a back away, which I kind of use like an emergency recall. So if the dogs go to chase the cat, like I'll use like a retreat. So I train that where I use a super high value treat that my dogs don't ever get any other time. So it's something special just for retreat, and mine is gizzard. I just keep some in the freezer. And so if they start to chase something and I say retreat, that means you back away, you turn and go the other way. And then I reward them very generously for that. So no matter how bad they want to chase the cat, and with my dogs, they chase sometimes because it's fun, but they don't ever like. I mean, my cat can jump over the baby gate, and as soon as she stops running, they stop. They're like, oh, well, she's not running, so we're not going to chase her. So I don't have to worry about my dogs hurting my cat. Um, but yes, you can teach like a back away type thing. And when you email me, ask me for the flight cue handout, and I'll send you that. And that will teach you how to use the 180 degrees go the other way. And yeah, if your dogs are big and can get over the gates, that's why I will keep a cat in another room for the first week, or something like the cat condo where the cat's just safe and can go in there whenever she wants. So, okay, great questions tonight, you guys. Okay, let's do a drawing. And tonight is Karen Chesbro from Massachusetts. Oh, Julie, I'm sorry. Oh, you got COVID 2 years after not having it. I'm sorry. Yes. Go to bed. Feel better. I've had COVID twice, and I was sick as a dog both times, like really, really sick. Okay, so congratulations, Karen. So what you're going to do, Karen, is email hello@pupford.com and let them know what kind of training treats you want and they will send you out a free bag of training treats. I believe that they have new ones out too that I haven't tried. I think they have some blueberry. I need to try their new treats. But yeah, they have a couple new ones. So thanks for joining. It was fun tonight. You guys had some great questions. You used your brain. Every week I'm going to try and do a scenario or give you something to get you thinking about like different training stuff, because I think it's good. You guys are really smart. Okay, so have a great week. Oh, and have a great Labor Day weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. So if you're some of you are camping, traveling, have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you guys next week.